wall hanging oil lamp lanterns. It's a pretty simple idea, and it's a good way to have an alternative light source if anything happens with a power outage. And it's also a really nice looking setup, and my wife really thinks it's pretty too, so she's excited to have it. So some of the items that you're going to need here, I've got them all laid out here. Basically, a lot of this stuff I already had on hand. In fact, all of it except for the hooks back here. I did buy here from Walmart. They're only like $1 a package, but that's the only thing I think I bought out of this whole thing. If I come across something else, I'll let you know. And then also, I'll have a list with all these supplies in the link below the video here, so that you can see. But just some standard stuff here. I got some old aquarium gravel for a fish tank that we don't have anymore. I got some earth colors, and I've also got some white color. I prefer to do these lanterns out of the earth color because I found out that, from some experimenting that I did, I found out that this rock will burn, so it gets turns brown on the top. So with this, you don't really see that effect. I mean, it doesn't look bad actually. I mean, it looks pretty nice, but it's just not what I harvest. A lighter, pair of scissors, some hobby twine, just a pocket knife. I like buck knives. I'm going to do a review on some buck knives in some later videos, but I like buck knives. So a knife, some beeswax, or a bar of soap. I just use that to thread screws and stuff, and you'll see what I'm going to do with that later on in the video. Tape measure, of course, some ball canning jars, home canning jars, boiled linseed oil. You'll find that as you get to know me and follow me, I use boiled linseed oil on everything. That's my favorite stuff in the world. It's not toxic, and it's good stuff. It really works. So of course, you got some lamp oil, and you can use kerosene. So I got an old can of kerosene here. Interestingly enough, this is a very old can of kerosene, and I found that it still works. So, and I thought there was a shelf life on gasoline, kerosene, and diesel. I'm sure there is for running modern engines, but it works fine for doing lamp oil. So, oil rub bronze spray paint, miscellaneous stuff. I got my cordless drill over there that I'll be using for the project. So you got some batteries and stuff here, some drill bits, and last but not least, I've got some countersink drill bits that I'll be using. Alright guys, so a couple of the other things I forgot to mention over here is you're going to have some of this chain, and this is just like a simple hobby chain, for people use it to like hang up planters and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and get this started here. An idea how long I need to be. And I'm just going to prep these for paint. There's one there, and I've already got one there, so we'll just do that one for now. And then another thing and you don't have to. The only reason I'm painting these is because it's the color my wife picked out. She likes oil rub bronze stuff. And so I'm gonna paint this oil rub bronze color, just because that's the color she likes. Alright guys, so the next thing we got to do is we've got to cut the piece of wood that's going to go behind our wall lantern. And so to do that, I'm just using, all this is a cedar wood fence plank. They're super cheap to buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, places like that, compared to other wood, and you can do so much with them. And I've actually never done one that's square before, which kind of intrigues me. So I think I'll probably do it that way. Another thing I'll mention here too is that when I'm making something like this, lots of people will try and, you know, get rid of the knots. You don't want the knots. I say nonsense to that. I think the knots are beautiful. I think it shows the natural character of the wood when it was first milled, and I love seeing the knots. So you know, as you can see here, you got all this different grain patterns. It's going to show up. It's really going to pop. Once I get done building all this, I'll treat it with boiled linseed oil, and it'll really pop right out. We'll measure this out. You want it to be 12 inches long, and so I'll just move this down here to 12 inches. And it's not, you know, super precise, so you don't have to worry about it, but so yeah, I think that'll be nice. Nice square one. Basically, we're going to go 12 inches there, and then what I'm going to do is find center, like so, and then I'm going to come down 1 inch, and I'm just going to poke a little pilot hole here, about where we want that to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark it with this right away. Hey, that was right on. Just like that. One of the things I think I talked about early on was using beeswax, and I told you I was going to tell you what it was for. Well, the time has come for me to tell you what beeswax is for, or what I use it for. I'm sure, again, this isn't going to be a first for some of you, but if you just put a little bit of beeswax on screw threads like this before you screw them into wood, it just helps them go in so much nicer. And so I always try and put a little bit on my screws before I screw them into wood. So put it right in that hole we drilled out there. And it just goes in there smooth as butter. Just like so. Okay. So the next step is to work on our jar, and I got our fish rocks, or the aquarium gravel. Got our chain that we painted. and our lid that we painted, or our canning ring, whatever you call those, technical name for them. And then I take some of this hobby twine, as I call it, and I'll have links to everything, all these supplies that you'll need in the comment section below if you want to take a look at making your own. And generally, how I measure this hobby string here for these wicks is I'll take about the length of the jar and then about another length of the jar, about like that. And that's if I was going to put it all the way to the top. So I'll come down just a little bit, but I like to have enough in there that, you know, if I need to, I could pull a little bit more out as the fire burns the other down. So, because you want that wick to be about in the middle down there in the bottom. So I'll spin it around until I get it to about a point where it looks like it's going to be in the middle, and then I'll start pouring my gravel in there. And we're getting close to about as much of the rock as I want to use. So that wick is right there, if you can see that. Just barely sticking up. And I like that, to just barely stick up like that, because that way it makes the flame look just like it's coming out of the rocks, and it's kind of a cool feature. So the next thing I'm going to add is going to be our lamp oil, and I'm just going to fill that up till it comes up to probably right about halfway in the rocks. And this is the other nice thing about having these rocks in here like this, is if you have these things hanging on your wall and the power goes out and you go to light them and they need some more oil in them, it's no big deal. You don't have to remove a bunch of lids and unscrew stuff and all that stuff. You just take your lamp oil and dump it in there until it's about halfway up the rocks. I'll go ahead and light that wick down there just to show you it works. You have a nice little feature. So I'm just going to screw this ring on here about halfway, and then take our chain, and I like to find the natural seams on the jar here. Just give it a little twist, and then you got yourself basically a little friction hold there, and that one went in nice.